Isn't it strange that when playing a game we usually compare it to others, like similar mechanics, themes, or even items inside it? People keep talking about how Power World is just aping on Pokemon, even though it's just a easier digestible Ark Survival Evolved. But that's a whole different drum that I will never be banging on anytime soon. Not in the immediate future anyway. Today I'm talking about Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, and how it compares to its eldest sibling in its own series. My personal experiences with Armored Core only go back a few years. I only quite recently played the original game all the way through about 2 years ago. And other than the original and Master of the Arena, I have not played any other Armored Core game. So let's get to comparing the original title of this long-standing series to its latest entry. First, let's talk about the gameplay. Armored Core 6 gives you access to 3 weapons to use right off the bat. But unlike in the original, where you had to switch between using your right shoulder weapon and your right arm weapon, you could use all your weapons at once, unless you were shooting off a charged attack. A charged attack is exactly what it sounds like. It's what happens when you charge up a weapon and attack. Armored Core 6 is obviously trying to appeal to FromSoft's usual crowd by giving a dedicated dodge button and a shield item later on that is useful in certain situations. The original had a boost button, but that was mainly used for either gaining or removing distance from you and your target. Armored Core 6 also introduces a heal button, which is very useful, but certain enemies can use it as well, and it harkens back to the healing items used in the Soul series. There's even an upgrade that will allow you to get more healing out of it. Combat is incredibly fluid, and it feels great. Way better than the original. But when you're outside of combat, the controls feel sticky and unresponsive. But that problem is negated by the boost mode, which is introduced here. It makes everything feel frictionless, but now you opened up to the table to the opposite problem, because now when trying to move, it's slippery and nothing feels right. Another mechanic introduced is both lock-on targeting, which is very useful for keeping track of a single enemy, and assault boost, which is useful for getting close to an enemy. Lock-on is fine because in the original game I always had a problem with keeping the fast enemies in my sight, but Assault Boost I would accidentally press in all the time because it's on L3. There are posture bars now. They make killing enemies easier because they stop moving for a few seconds. Status effects like electric discharge and overheating, and I'm not really sure what those do. And those are all the new mechanics I'm pretty sure Armored Core 6 has introduced. Now let's talk about menus. In the original game, you didn't really need to interact with all the menus, especially if you wanted to just do the gameplay. But you were mainly just frequenting the store and the garage, and the sortie, the mission. The Raven's Nest wasn't that interesting, I guess. It was just a bunch of floating graphics telling you what to do. But yeah, you wouldn't really check out the rankings. If you didn't care about the story, you wouldn't check out the mail. If you'd go to the system when you were, wanting to get off the game, I guess, to save. But yeah, there wasn't much to do. But I found myself looking at all of the menus in Armored Core 6. Like, I guess the only one I really didn't look at in Armored Core 6 was the arena menu, but because I would get a notification that there were new fighters in the arena, and then I'd go fight in the arena. I'd do it until I couldn't anymore. But that is where I have my next big problem, is the arena. Why is it structured that way? Why can I only get into the arena, like, when later on? Why can't I get into it right away? I have a bit of a problem with that. Sorry. Yes, I actually do mean that. Why can't I get into the arena from the start, and why can't I fight all the way up to S rank number 1 from the start? Especially when they're giving out the OS chips, the upgrade item. The OS chips are usually used to upgrade like your healing, your damage output, your defense, all that stuff. But I had a bit of a problem with that. And yeah, the online is also locked behind a story wall, like fighting against people and whatnot. That annoyed me. Don't like, because in the other game, in the original game, well, Project Phantasma, you could do all that stuff right away, and you'd only do the story once you hit a wall. I never hit a wall in the arena. That's a lie. I hit a wall, I went out, I made another robot, and then I didn't hit another wall. Not to talk about... Well, I mean, I am supposed to be talking about the menu, but the part shop as well. Why are there so many stuff just not there? Why do you have to find, like, data chips to get the stuff? I don't know. It's just these small little things that piss me off. Like, I remember in the original, you just unlocked it. Like everything. You could unlock real heavyweight designs and a bunch of different leg types as well, right off the bat. You didn't need to unlock them. You could make a build, but that build usually wasn't going to work, because there was going to be higher quality parts later on that you could buy. That's just what I don't understand. There's less variety in your mech design, not in the weapons. There's way more weapons. I do like that, but there's less variety in your mech design in the new one than in the original. Because in the original, you already had access to 3 bipedal, 3 reverse joint, I think it was 2 quadruped, and 2 tank. But in this one, there's like, I found 3 tank at the end, and like 2 quadruped, 2 reverse joint, and a whole bunch of bipedal. Like, what is up with that? Now let's talk about the story. The original Armored Core had a story, I guess. It started out as Corpos versus Rebels, and you were just a hired hand to take out. And you basically chose either one, or you could even choose both, if I remember correctly. And then it ended up with like an AM-like computer trying to take over the world and stuff. And you just destroyed that. Very simple plot, very digestible. And then you go on to Armored Core 6, which the story is convoluted because it has dead but not dead Rubiconians living throughout the Coral, this drug energy source type thing that people are on Rubicon 4. And there was a fire and everything burned and there was a collapse, which I don't entirely remember what that means. And then coral apparently grows in space. Then how come it hasn't grown a lot yet? And I was just getting confused. And then your handler he's guiding you through it, and then in the ending I chose, at least, you fight him at the end. But why? You are an augmented human. That's how it starts. And that's how... That is not how the original starts. If you got into enough debt in the original game, you turned into an augmented human. But not in this one. You're just already an augmented human. And I don't even know if you can go into debt in this game. It seems like a really hard thing to do. I don't know. The plot confused me a bit, I guess. But then, now we talk about the ending. I guess I already said the ending of 6, where you fight Handler Walter for some fucking reason. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't played the game for some reason and you're watching a retrospective. Yes, but the ending of killing the am-like machine that tries to take over the world in the original, what happens after the end is you were like taken to the main menu, and you could either make a game and load your last save on the one you beat the game with, or you could take that save in that PlayStation and port it over to like Project Phantasma and Master of the Arena and stuff. But in the new one, you are plopped back right after the very first level of the game. Right after crash landing on Rubicon, you're plopped right back in. I thought that was interesting. I actually really liked that. And it's kind of like a new game plus, but you just have all your stuff since you're kind of just perpetually needing more money in this game. But yeah, that was the retrospective of Armored Core. Looking at it from someone who hasn't played any games in between. Just the first one and the last one. They're good games. I do like them. Yeah, as much as I've been dogging on the new one, the original had so many flaws. And yeah. That's all I really wanted to say about this one. Fuck, I'm tearing up. This sucks. That's all I really wanted to say. Ask in the comments if you would like to hear my opinions on, any other game series, first and last. Play God of War, play the first God of War game, and then play Ragnarok. Play Demon Souls, then play Elden Ring. I don't... Just, yeah. That might actually be an idea, because I own both of them. I haven't beaten Demon Souls yet. And this is the original OG Demon Souls, by the way, because I don't have a PS5. I'm probably never going to get one unless it drops to about $100. So yeah, hope you guys like this, and I'll see you all some other time. Goodbye.